Ascent Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents How to Breathe While Suffocating, a story of overcoming addiction, recovering from trauma, and healing my soul, by Bruce W. Brackett. Narrated by Bruce W. Brackett. Limit of liability disclaimer of warranty. While the publisher and author have used their best efforts in preparing this book, they make no representations or warranties with respect to the accuracy or completeness of the contents of this book, and specifically disclaim any implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. No warranties may be created or extended by sales representatives or written sales materials. The advice and strategies contained herein may not be suitable for your situation. You should consult with a professional where appropriate. Further, readers should be aware that websites listed in this work may have changed or disappeared between when this work was written and when it is read. Neither the publisher nor authors shall be liable for any loss of profit or any other commercial damages, including but not limited to special, incidental, consequential, or other damages. I would like to dedicate this book to you, the listener, in whatever journey you are facing, to the person who is still struggling with their mental health, to those still facing active addictions, to the one who feels lost in the chaos and darkness, also to the ones who have bravely recovered. I deeply want you to know that you are loved and that you are not alone. Keep moving forward, for so much good is coming your way. Preface. Have you ever felt like you don't fit the mold? Like an outsider who doesn't belong? Maybe you were bullied for being who you are. Perhaps you felt completely alone. If this sounds familiar, this book is for you. Chances are that you or someone you know has been through addiction recovery. With 8 billion people on the planet and a mind-boggling number afflicted, I can guarantee you that you are not alone. This book is for you. Has your life been shaken by trauma, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Mine has. And the reason I'm sharing my story is to connect with someone who needs it. You will be meeting me in a very personal way over the coming chapters. So, before we begin, let's be clear about who I am not. Though my name is Bruce Wayne Brackett, I am not Batman. I may share a touch of his notoriety, on social media at least, and I aim to help people in distress. Unlike Batman, I do not have access to a thrilling array of gadgets to banish villains. That being said, we are all survivors. But unlike comic book heroes, we face adversaries that are often hidden and hard to identify. I am also not a supernatural being, or some expert in human nature. I cannot explain why bad things happen or why evil exists, and I don't give advice on dealing with harmful people. But I offer hope. I have experienced the beauty of creation, and I invite you to take a broader view to see that self-transformation is possible. When something insurmountable occurs, it is important to face it and to keep moving forward. Finally, I am not Shakespeare. I don't have some deep insight into emotion, behavior, or the collective human condition. I don't try to explain why we do the things we do, or why we have contradictory beliefs, or where our opinions come from. But I can tell you that it is better to be than not to be. You are here. You are breathing. You have the opportunity to banish negativity and to invite positivity into your daily life. You can make the choice to keep moving forward. So, who am I? I was a child born with my fate already sealed. From the perspective of the medical staff who delivered me, it might have made more sense to inscribe my name on a tombstone along with the birth certificate. Given my circumstances, and by all outward assumptions, I was doomed to be a nameless statistic, a hopeless case, quickly discarded and forgotten. Despite the odds being stacked against me from the very beginning, I continue to conquer all doubt. With each day, and through ever-unfolding challenges, I keep getting up. I keep finding the courage to stand tall. I keep moving forward. I have had many failures along the way. I believe that failures can be celebrated because they prove that we are successful at trying. As someone who has been affected by many traumatic events, I find a great responsibility lying at my feet. There were so many moments where I could have given up, but instead, I overcame them. Whether you were trying to overcome, trying to transform, or simply trying to pass through your unique challenges, I hope the message of this book's title resonates with you. Breathe. Keep moving forward. I offer my story as a source of hope and inspiration, and I tell it with a great passion for you. Whether you are held back by trauma, mental health challenges, or addiction diseases that affect you or your loved ones, you can overcome, transform, and pass through the experience. Simply put, if I was able to, so can you. All details and stories that you are about to hear are true from my own recollection and the memories about me from others who were present at the time. Some names have been changed in order to protect and respect those who chose not to be identified. Everything else is real. This story is not pretty or easy, and certain passages might trigger some listeners. This is a recounting of my personal experience. Most importantly, this is not professional medical advice. If you are experiencing a mental health struggle, addiction, trauma-related issues, or a crisis or emergency, you should immediately reach out to a medical professional or emergency hotline. Your situation is unique. I encourage you to listen at your own pace and to find things we have in common. This way, you can connect to the elements that will resonate most with you. Breathe. Keep moving forward. It's going to be okay. 1. Born into it and removed from it. Breathe. You can overcome the cards that you've been dealt. Breathe. Just because some people let you down doesn't mean that all is lost. There are people who will be with you the entire way to love and support you. Breathe. I know the weight of your situation might be unbearable without knowing the outcome of what is to be, and that's okay. So much good is coming your way if you don't give up. Breathe. Keep moving forward. From the very beginning of my life, my mountains to climb were steep. As I was forming in the womb, I had already ingested drugs and alcohol. One of the many crack babies, as they were known in the media at the time. I was born into a vast nameless social epidemic that was and continues to sweep the nation. Addiction and trauma don't affect just the people who suffer directly, but also the myriad of individuals and professionals who deal with the repercussions. I was just moments old when I was rushed into detox from the addictive substances that I never chose to ingest. Days into my journey on this earth, I survived a double hernia operation. So not only was I born in the Rockies with literal mountains before me, but I also faced metaphorical mountains, large and looming from the outset. Before we start walking in the weeds of my rough beginnings, Let's begin.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?